It was not recording anymore. Why was it not recording?
It is recording.
Oh, it is! Phew! It's still recording.
Another week
of the Sibs.
Welcome, Sibsies. So, we are very honored that you are gathered with us today to join us, to watch with us in your crib, with your crib.
To laugh with us.
Yes. Alright, so before we reveal the exciting news of what we shall be doing today, we are going to shout at one of you lucky people. One of you lucky people have the honor of being shouted at by the Sibs. And the Sibsie.
The Sibsie?
that we are shouting at today is...
So, it is... Drum roll, please.
I feel like Sassy's drum rolls.
You know,
I feel like we should play them all against Sassy's drum rolls. Here we go. Yes, and there we have the Sibsie drum rolls.
I did that to myself, damn it. Alright, so the person that we are shouting out to is Denise van der Zandt, and she said, why are my eyes so fixed on this Google game? That game is awesome.
When she was talking about the Google game, is that the dinosaur one?
Yes, that is the dinosaur one.
You know, some people also commented and said that when they were bored, they would play that game at school.
That game is awesome.
It is awesome. The amount of times I've switched off my Wi-Fi and while I'm on a phone call, I'm just playing this dinosaur game. It's a lot. You wouldn't say it last week in how badly I lost twice.
Those were clearly very short phone calls.
No, they weren't.
Or the internet came back really quickly.
But anyway.
You know what the worst with that game is? Just to add, you know you're playing it and then your score is going and you're like, yes, yes. And then the internet comes back and when the internet comes back, it naturally reloads and then goes out of the game. So you could be on like the highest score in the world and next minute your internet comes back and finished.
And you lose all of that winning.
Well, I think it does keep your high score.
No, you lose it. It's only once you lost or whatever, then it ding.
That is horrible.
Very sad. So today, we are going to be doing a very fun... I, with you, are going to be doing a very fun interview of... Chachi, otherwise known as the director of 4 movies. So we are about to get into the mind of a director. Hello people, I am
from New Metro. She's from New Metro.
My name is New Metro. First name being New and surname being Metro.
No, first name New, second name Met, surname Bro.
I prefer New Metro. Anyway, today I'm gathered and joined by Chachi, the director of 4 movies.
That is not my name.
Thank you for Chachi Enston. Thank you for joining us here today, Chachi.
Well, you know, I took some time out of my busy schedule. But, yeah.
Wow, that was very interesting. Thank you for sharing. All right, information we did not need to know. Anyway, today we are going to be getting inside, crawling, digging, scoping out the mind of a director. First question. If you had to be shipwrecked on a deserted island, but all your...
A what? You said a deserted island. Does that mean it's an island full of dessert? Because I think I could be like...
No,
there. Deserted.
This director seems to be very stupid, ladies and gentlemen.
So all my food and what he's taking care of?
Your needs, your human needs, like food and water. What 2 items would you take with you? Ladies and gentlemen, as she thinks the director is speechless. which is not good for when you're writing scripts and making movies, but this director is very unique, ladies and gentlemen.
I would take a... So only food and water, right?
No, all your human needs. So clothing would
okay.
be provided. Food and water is provided. What else, what 2 items would you take then?
I'd take my Mac and internet. Because then I can watch movies.
Okay. There you have it from a director. If you want to be a director, you always have a Mac and you always have internet to watch movies. If you had a choice between 2 superpowers, being invisible or flying, which would you choose? The director does a dramatic pause as she thinks.
Which one's gonna help me more in life? Invisible.
Why would you be invisible?
Because I feel like flying is just like showing off and like, what are you gonna do flying? Like seriously, you can get a car, you can walk, you can ride a bicycle. Whereas when you're invisible, you can be invisible. So like, let's say for instance you left something in the room and there's a meeting there. Or then you could just do cool stuff. Like or like you're filming something, right? And you need something to be somewhere. And instead of green screen, you just go invisible. See?
Interesting choice. Question number 3. What was the last line on a script you wrote? Okay, so her latest film that she's apparently working on, soon to be released when the world decides to let us release or let her release it.
What was the last line?
What was the last line in that movie, Amnesiacs?
Hail up.
What?
Hail up. It is the Jamaican way to say hello, or like it's slang Jamaican to say hello. Hail up.
She knows her script. What was the last line in A New World Order? It was her movie from what year?
2018. No?
She doesn't even know when the movie
Yes,
came
it was
out.
2018.
When you're a director or...
It was 2018, I just
know. What was the last line in that script?
I remember that the main character did like an outro where she spoke. Wait.
This director is very unsure of herself.
Or are you part of a new world order? I think I could be wrong. Let me show you the script. This is the script. This was the last line. I don't know if I was wrong because that's going to be done in editing. So you know if I'm wrong.
Directors these days. What's the last thing you watched on TV and why did you choose to watch it?
The last thing I watched on TV was the church service. Our 10 o'clock church service.
And why did you watch it?
Because it was Sunday. And you can't go to church, so we've been watching church. So that's why I watched it, because I like church. And I watched it and enjoyed it.
Moving along, if you had to write a script right now, what would it be about? Right now on the spot.
It would be about a Mexican guy that gets lost in China.
What? A Mexican guy that gets lost in China.
And he discovers that he can
fly.
No, he can time travel to different times in China.
Alright. Very interesting movies. How would you rate your memory?
I'd give it a 7 out of 10. At the best of times.
What, in your opinion, is the most important quality in a film director?
Telling a story. They have to be a brilliant storyteller. That's the ability to tell a story and to tell it well. Very deep, very deep.
An actor is being unprofessional. How do you manage that situation?
How would I like to manage a situation? How do I do it in the moment of stress?
How do you manage a situation like that?
They're being unprofessional. You fire them. Tell them to get the hell out of there. I don't have time for these actors. I've never fired with someone. I just fired someone once.
Confused.
But I
You fired an actor.
Okay, can I tell the story quick? So we do drama productions. At that time, we actually were doing like a reinvention of The Blacklist, the series The Blacklist. So in The Blacklist, every episode has a criminal that they're trying to get, right? So there's this guy, his name's Calvin. He's the actor and he's the criminal of that whole episode. He's the criminal. So I'm sitting there, as I do, as a director does, watching everything's going smoothly. Next minute, there's a scene where they spot him. So this is the scene where finally they spot the guy. And I'm sitting there watching the scene, and I happen to look backstage. I'm backstage. I happen to look to the side, and there is the actor, Calvin, not on stage where they can't spot him. He's there. And he looked at me and went, I'm sorry. And I was so angry that he was not on stage that I was like, you're fired. You're fired. And then I turned back. But the point is, he wasn't even hired in the first place. It was all voluntary based. So he was just like, okay. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, wait, I fired someone. So I went to him. I was like, you're not fired. But don't do that again. Yeah, it's funny now. It was, yeah.
That was a touching story, but please answer the question. If they are being unprofessional, how would you manage the situation on set?
You give them a serious talk. You say, this is serious. We're doing a movie. Can you not see that? Okay, cool. So can you please do your job nicely now? Or else we will be going home tomorrow morning.
Next question. What was your first movie making experience and how did it change your life?
I was very young, and you think that making a movie is easy, and then you realize it's not when you're making it, because time flies. I think as I've gone along, like I've learned, I think I feel like I'm not answering the question correctly. So what was? This is intense. You are a horrible interview. I'm just saying, I feel like I'm not even sitting here with you. I feel like I'm sitting here with you, Metro.
You are sitting with the new Metro.
I want Kayla Watermelon back. I'm just saying. So, my first filming experience was very traumatizing, I'd say, but it was also very interesting because I was doing it for the first time. And how it's changed. It was so long ago, I don't really remember much. But I think the biggest thing that...
And yet, she rated her memory a 7.
I said a 7 at the best of times.
I would give it a -5.
So, I think the best experience has been coming into contact with problems, and you learn to problem solve under extreme pressure.
So that is how it changed your life.
With lots of tears. I think it also gave me smoother skin because the tears. I'm joking.
Sounds very traumatizing to make a movie. My word of advice: don't make them. Save yourself the tears. What would you like to do in filmmaking that you haven't yet done before?
I'd like to blow up a car. Or I'd like to blow up something. Actually, I'd just like to blow something up.
After having written more than a couple of scripts over the years, do you find the process of script writing harder or easier?
Easier, but also I've done research and learned... Because at first, you start off writing and you're just like, okay, cool, I'm brilliant, this is awesome. But then I actually started reading and, learning and getting tips and tricks. There's a brilliant book. It's called How to Make... In fact, it's right here. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It is this book, Making a Good Script Great. This book is amazing. So if you need if you need to write a script, this is the book yes. So after that book, it's definitely helped me write. It really has helped me write better scripts.
Right, on to one of the last questions.
Right, there's no feedback, there's no positive, there's just a stare.
I don't like enthusiastic interviewees. This is a very intense question. When was the last time you ate cashews? Cashews.
I bet you're going to bring up that memory thing now, eh? It was a few weeks ago. It was probably, I'd say... 4 weeks ago.
Do they help with movies?
They do tend to create a more cashewy feeling. No. Well, they do. If you haven't eaten the whole day and you need energy, then yes, please eat cashews. But you could eat anything, actually.
What is the best piece of advice that you've ever heard, not necessarily given to you directly?
For filmmaking?
No, for flying a plane.
Or for flying a plane, the best piece of advice I learned was don't crash it. I think the best piece of advice that I've heard about filmmaking is problem solve and collaborate.
Can you elaborate on that? Elaborate.
So, in other words, involve people and don't just be that person that's always like, no. Like, actually listen to what they have to say, involve them, work with them, because you alone, can make an average film. You with people, Brilliant.
It's probably the most profound thing she said the whole interview. Last question. What are you currently working on?
I'm currently working on trying to sit on this chair nice and looking. I'm currently working on a film named Amnesiacs. It kind of went on production hold because of the lockdown and everything, just like the rest of Hollywood lockdown, literally. But yeah, we're working on Amnesiacs at the moment. I'm very excited for it. It's a good film. I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Well, that was the interview with Chachi. And straight after this, we will have a 30-second to a minute piece of some of the shots of Sashi's movies. So stay tuned for that. But before we go anywhere, thank you so much for tuning in. I am New Metro, and you have just watched a very interesting interview with one of the next up-and-coming directors of the century. Thank you, and good night. Have a nice life.
And don't forget to subscribe and like the video.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And like the video. Peace.
I don't remember anything. I've tried. But it's just blank. I woke up in this warehouse. There's no way out. Someone else is awake.